And I will make mention of that aspect of life in our discourse. We're definitely working on heart transplant now. Now, brothers, the Quran in the 4th surah or chapter says, "Oh man." And by the way, it's a chapter called the women.
Yes, sir.
But it starts, since women are the producers of the nation, it starts with an admonition to the people. "Oh people, keep your duty to your Lord, who created you from a single being and created its mate of the same kind." Let's stop right there.
Right there. Teach.
First of all, your duty, your obligation as a man and as a people is not to government first.
Go ahead.
Not even to mama or daddy.
That's right, man. Say it.
Your obligation is number one
Yes, sir.
to the Creator who created us
Come on.
from a single essence or a single being. Oh man, this is so powerful. If my first duty is to God, why should I be dutiful to God? Why?
Come on. Make us understand.
The President of the United States and all legally constituted governments, all leaders, teachers, prophets, sages, not one of them created sperm.
Come on.
Not one of them created womb.
Come on now. Come on.
Not one of them created egg.
That's right.
Not one of them is responsible for the genetic coding,
That's right, sir. Go ahead.
the DNA that makes us who and what
Yes, sir.
we are potentially.
That's right. Teach it, minister.
So if they didn't create this,
That'll break it up.
my mama didn't even know she was pregnant
Teach it.
until 30 days after the fact.
Come on, lady.
But in the womb, a law was operating. Check this out. Sperm was emitted.
Yes.
Millions of them.
Go ahead.
Sometimes billions.
Come on. Yes, sir.
But only one could fertilize the egg.
Yeah, go ahead, minister.
The sperm had to swim
Upstream.
in a hostile environment.
Go ahead, minister. Go ahead, minister.
The environment of the female
Take your time, sir.
is a killer to the sperm. So the sperm gotta be quick.
Take your time. Be quick.
And if you hang out too long, you're dead.
Yeah.
So here God put the sperm in competition. And the odds that we were gonna make it was 100 million to 1 billion to 1.
Come on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Those are some odds, ain't they, brother?
Yes, sir.
But evidently you beat the odds because you are here. Then you, as sperm, mastered a hostile environment.
Mastered it.
You, as sperm, won a race to the egg.
Come on.
And the race was not to the swift,
Go ahead, minister.
but to the one that could endure
Yeah, he endured.
to the end.
Go ahead, minister. Go ahead.
gravity.
Gravity.
Travel upstream.
Upstream.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Upstream. Upstream.
Ain't but one fish that I know swim upstream.
Yes, sir.
You preaching, minister.
But the human being
Yes.
did it all. Mama didn't even know what was going on. She partying, hanging out. And sperm moving. Look, man, let's talk man talk. Let's talk man talk.
Go ahead. Do this.
Take your time, sir. Minister, go ahead.
Take your time.
The head of the sperm contained 24 chromosomes.
Come on, minister. Come on with it.
A tail maneuvering it.
Go ahead.
Take your time. Make us understand.
And the sperm is coming on upstream, swimming. Mama partying or looking at as the world turns.
Come on. Make us understand, sir.
But a mighty God
Teach.
was in the womb
Mighty God. Today, sir.
directing the process
Mighty God.
by means of a law.
Come on.
Look at it now. So the sperm found the egg, fertilized the egg, and then the other sperm became food for the newly fertilized egg.
Listen.
And in the darkness of the womb, there evidently was some light present in the life itself. Because the sperm that met the egg that became a cell began to rotate in the darkness of the womb.
Teach, minister.
It needed, as the Quran teaches, a firm resting place. So it developed
Teach, minister. Teach.
that which would allow it to hold on to the walls of the uterus, because the body is programmed to reject the new life.
Teach.
Just like your mind has been programmed to reject the new life dictated by truth.
Come on.
Come on now.
Stay right there.
Now, as it finds a firm resting place, mama still don't know what's going on.
Go ahead.
Daddy went on about his business trying to find someone else to deposit some sperm in.
That's us.
That's us, minister.
That's us.
Teach hard, minister.
Now, an evolutionary process begins.
Go ahead.
And from sperm mixed with ovum, it becomes a clot. This book, Quran, the first revelation of the Quran, starts like this. Iqra, read in the name of your Lord,
Yes.
who created man from a clot and taught man by the pen what man knew not. Read.
Read.
The name of the first chapter
Teach, Lamb of God.
is called Al-Alaq, the clot.
Come on, minister. Come on.
As a clot is ugly,
Ugly looking.
but yet it is the first palpable form.
Yes.
After the seed germinates the egg, it forms a clot. And the clot is ugly. And so is a people who do not read. Listen. Illiteracy is ugliness. Illiteracy does not allow you and me to evolve to become the glory of God.
Preach, minister, preach. Hey, listen, minister.
The clot. Mama knows she's pregnant now.
Yeah.
And she may be trying to get rid of the clot. Sometimes she's successful.
Yes.
Sometimes she's not. My mother tried to abort me in the womb 3 times.
Go talk, minister.
They didn't have abortion clinics in those days. But God spared my life, and after the 3rd time that she tried, she decided to give up and let me come to birth. Now, neither you nor our women know what they're killing. When you kill the fruit of your womb, you're killing future possibility. You may be killing the answer to your own prayers. That's why the womb is sacred. And once life is in the womb, we must not impose on the woman to kill the womb or the fruit of the womb, but we as men must take the responsibility for the act of sex that produces us in future time.
Talk, minister, talk.
See, when a woman produces a baby for you, she's generating you into the future.
Talk, minister, talk.
That's why every wise man is careful how he handles the woman, because she's producing him again for future time. And you always want your future to be better than your past. Listen. Y'all all right? This is just what we call a fireside chat, brothers.
Go ahead, minister, go ahead. You need it.
Just bear with me a few more minutes, okay? Now, brothers, that clot evolves into what is called an embryo. Then it evolves again into a fetus. And everything the mother eats is filtered through what is called the placenta. And the new life is fed through an umbilical cord, and it is swimming in a bag of waters like a fish.
That's right.
It's got eyes, but it can't see yet. It's got ears, but it can't hear yet.
Yes, sir.
The first thing that is formed is the brain.
That's right. Come on, minister. Come on.
And the brain calls into existence arms, legs. This is why the enemy always operates on your head.
On your head.
Because once he kills your head, your hands can't function. Your feet can't function. This is why he destroys your leadership.
Go ahead, minister.
Go ahead. Because the head has to form first to call into existence the arms, the legs, the body. Christ came first, then the church. He's the head, and he called into existence his arms, Peter, Paul, the disciples, and then they brought into existence a body of believers. Any leader worth his salt
Come on.
is a sacred individual.
That's right. That's right.
Go ahead.
That's right. Say it again, leader.
And if they are feeding properly, they deserve to be protected by the arms
Yes, sir. That's right.
and protected by the legs
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and supported by the
Yes,
body.
sir.
Yes, sir.
That's the nature of things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your head formed first,
Come on, leader.
not for me to see for you, but for you to see for yourself. Not for me to hear for you, but for you to hear for yourself. Not for me to speak for you, but for you to speak for yourself. But first, you had to be formed.
Come on, leader.
Now you're a fetus,
Go ahead.
and you're ready to come forth.
Yeah.
And mama bears us in fainting and pain. And then in a little while, in her breasts is milk
Come on, preach, minister.
to nurture your life. No leader brought milk into her breast.
Go ahead, minister. That's right. Go ahead.
Harvard University didn't program the breast.
Go ahead, minister.
Neither did Yale or Oxford. But the Creator
Go ahead.
put milk there. The Creator, as you grew off of mama's breast, had in the earth corn growing, wheat growing, barley growing, chicken growing, corn and carrots and asparagus growing.
Teach.
So as you needed to eat, you could go to the tree and pluck the fruit to sustain and build your life. You're complete, but you're incomplete, because the physical body can be nurtured by fruit, can be nurtured by vegetables, can be nurtured by meat, but the brain, the heart,
Yes, sir.
where all the issues of life are formed, must be cultivated by proper teaching.
Teach, minister. Teach.
Oh, people, keep your duty to your Lord. The word in Arabic is Rab. From that you get the term Rabbi or Rabbi. Any Rabbi or Rabbi is a teacher, but not just any teacher.
Go ahead.
He is a nurturer, a cultivator of that which God has put within. It takes cultivation to bring it out. You understand?
Yes, sir. Yeah, minister.
So the enemy decided to step in immediately to be your teacher. And when you were old enough, you were dropped into kindergarten. The very word das Kind in German means the children. And Garten is the German word for garden. And what is a garden? A fertile and delightful spot for the planting of seeds. So the enemy became the gardener,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
the husbandman
Go ahead.
of our minds.
Bust him out.
And whether you like Farrahakan or not, white world has to accept the responsibility for the condition of the mind, since you prepared the education. When I was coming along in the kindergarten, I had to read about little black Sambo.
Black Sambo. Got something.
Some of you may not have known about that one.
I read about it. That's it.
Did you read about little Black Sambo? You did?
Yeah.
I know I did. And I was cringing, man. Damn, you know?
Black Sambo.
He was black. And my mama was real dark.
Yeah. Teach, minister, teach.
He making mockery of little Black Sambo. Then I had to look at the two little white children. What's their name? Dick and Jane.
Here comes Spot. See how Spot runs.
And then here comes Spot.
Come on.
Your Red Rider.
See how Spot runs. And the only thing I could identify, I couldn't identify with Dick, I couldn't identify with Jane.
Spot.
I could only identify with the spot on Spot.
Spot. Those black and white dogs. That's right.
And if you look at yourself, brothers, if you had a co-educational education, you gravitated toward the light-skinned girl
That's right.
with the long hair.
Yeah. That's right.
Then nobody want Black Susie,
No, nobody want to see that.
whose hair was so short
Come on.
you couldn't twist it with a tweezer.
Go ahead.
Read a brain. Read a brain.
That's us, sir.
Whole little black girl off in the corner feeling shame because she don't look like Dick and she don't look like Jane.
Go ahead, minister.
So we're rejecting the black girl. And subconsciously you're rejecting your own mother. Oh man.
Yeah, minister. That's right.
The process of the destruction of your mind has already begun. The process of your worship of white people and your denigration of self has already begun.
Yes, sir.
As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Yes, sir.
What happened to OJ?
Come on.
That OJ could want a woman outside of his race.
Outside.
The daughter of a former slave master. You say, oh, Farrahakan, that's racist talk. Shut up. There is no self-respecting Jew.
Go ahead.
40 years after the Holocaust, that will bring a German in the house talking about I'm in love with a grandfather that got numbers on their arm from the damn death camp. You disrespect the memory of your fathers and your mothers by bringing that pale woman in your house. Christmas comes, it's Santa Claus.
Go ahead.
Teach, minister, teach.
Here your mama and daddy struggling to give you something at Christmas and then give the credit to some big fat Caucasian that don't know that reindeer can't fly. But listen to the Caucasian in the audience. See, that may be all right for your children,
That's right.
but it's not all right for us to see a white fat man from the North Pole giving us what we work like hell to get to give our own children. numbers, with millions of Indians already here, or Native Americans as they are called.
Bust it up, Minister, bust it.
We are learning about Magellan and Ponce de Leon and Balboa as though they were the first to navigate the seas. But as a black child, nobody is telling us how our fathers navigated these seas and planted in the Western Hemisphere signs and symbols that even before there was a Mexican, we were here. The destruction of your mind has begun. The process continues. You go to church, and there on the altar is a Caucasian image. Sometimes blonde, sometimes brunette, but always white. And this is your Lord and your Savior. He made the Lord in his image. Now, any Christian pastor that is present,
Teach, Minister.
argue with me from Scripture. If Jesus were Caucasian, I wouldn't give a damn. If he's the man of that book, I believe in him.
Come on, son. Go ahead, Minister. That's it. Tell it.
But it just so happens that he wasn't white. You got a problem with that? If you got a problem with that, and evidently white folk did, because they changed the reality. Here's the Pope in Rome in his private prayer chamber with a black Mary and a black baby Jesus, while they give you a white one to bow down to. Now, the Bible said, make no graven image. Don't bow down nor worship them.
Don't do it.
But in the church, you have to genuflect to a white image. It's training you to bow down to Western man, his ideas, his norms, his value, so the white man becomes the man. The man from which all other men must take their example. If he were a good man, I wouldn't mind. But he has been evil in his mistreatment of every dark human being on the earth. Can you deny this? Farrahakan, you're teaching hate. Hell, yes, I am too. They got you so damn afraid to say you hate.
Come on. Stand up, man.
I don't hate nobody. Well, what the hell are you doing in destroying yourself? Fool. You love everybody but yourself. So you kill nobody but yourself. Why? Because you are programmed to hate yourself and to love other than yourself. That's why you want to be Cuban.
Go ahead.
I'm Mexican.
That's right.
I'm Indian. And to hell with Africa.
Come on.
Teach, Mr. Teach.
Tell it. Think about it. You gotta tell it.
While I'm on the subject of hate, there's a lot of things I used to love because I was ignorant.
That's right.
But the same thing that I used to love in ignorance, I now hate with intelligence.
Go ahead.
I just want you to come up out of people making you ashamed.
Go ahead.
It's wrong to hate. Who the hell says so?
Come on. Come on, teacher. Look at Tom, man.
I'm going to make every preacher in here bear witness today that it's all right to hate, damn it. And if you don't hate in a world like this, you're a damn fool.
It's all right.
I used to love hog maw.
Go ahead. Teach me. Take your time and teach me. Take your time, sir. Go on.
I used to love fatback.
You used to love it.
Teach on it.
I used to love hog head cheese.
Go ahead. Did we?
And would eat it with relish. Put a little hot sauce on it. And when I finish with the pig foot, my hand is sticky. But I ran into a teacher one day.
Come on, Father.
Name was Elijah Muhammad. And I came in under Malcolm X.
Teach, Mr. Teach.
You can't love Malcolm and love Hogg at the same time.
Can't do it. Love one, hate the other. Go ahead. Come on. Talk to us.
Oh man, don't mess with me.
Come on. That's us. That's us.
God hated the pig.
That's right.
Yes,
And he
sir.
said, don't eat it. Don't even touch its carcass.
That's right. Don't even touch it.
It's a filthy animal.
Listen.
Disease.
It's a sodomous animal.
That's it.
It's an animal that will turn around and eat its own young.
Listen.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us it was created
Yes.
for medicinal purposes.
Yes.
It is a poison animal, and practically all of the medicines for the diseases of this world, you have found them extracted from the pig.
Teach, man. Teach. Talk about it.
It carries the strychnine worm, and no matter how hot you cook it,
Teach the pig. Teach it.
to cure it,
Come on.
and smoke it
Teach it.
to cure it,
Can't do it.
those worms come alive. And they find their way into your muscles,
Listen.
into the spinal cord,
Come on.
up the spinal cord into the brain.
Yeah.
And once that strychnine worm gets to the brain, you never get rid of it. That's why your eyes are so red and yellow.
Listen.
You look like a stoplight. We don't know whether to stop or proceed with caution when we see you come.
Terrible tonight.
Now, I used to love love the hog, but I don't love it now.
Hate it now.
I hate it.
Hate it.
But I hate it intelligently.
Hate it with it.
I hate it with intelligence. I know how to handle a pig
Yes, sir.
by leaving it alone. It's wrong to hate anybody. Who is our example?
God.
Is not God
God.
the example for man?
God, sir, without a doubt.
I call the Bible to witness. God said he loved Jacob. But he what? He what? He did what? He hated Esau. Well, hell, God hates.
Yes, sir.
He does.
Yes, sir. Talk now.
All right, Jesus, would you take the witness stand?
Please. Yes, sir.
Go ahead,
Bring him to the stand, minister.
Dear Master, did you teach people to hate?
Tell it.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
What did you teach in the sacred writings of the gospel? Jesus talking. I said, no man can serve two masters. He must love one and hate the other, because there's not but two masters in the world. One is God and the other is Satan. And if you love God, you gotta hate the devil. Oh, brother, can't get away from it.
Teach, minister, teach.
Now, all right, Farrahakan, do you hate Jews? No, sir, I do not.
That's right. Teach, man, teach.
To say a man hates Jews
Come on.
is to say he hates a class of people who believe in the Torah and trying to follow the example of Moses and the prophets. I can't hate you if you're trying to do that.
That's right.
Do you hate Christians? No, sir.
That's right. Go ahead.
To hate a man who professes Christ and wants to be Christ-like in his conduct would be unthinkable.
That's right.
But do you hate Muslims?
Go ahead, man.
No, sir.
That's right.
But do you hate Arabs? No, sir.
That's right. Go ahead.
Well, do you hate white people? No, sir.
Teach, that's teach. Come on.
But what the hell are you talking about then?
Teach me. What do you hate?
I hate evil. I don't care who does it. I hate it. I hate slavery. I hate injustice, inequity, exploitation, greed. I hate the practice of homosexuality. I didn't say I hate homosexuals. Are you listening? I hate idolatry.
Go ahead. Preach, minister, preach.
I hate falsehood.
Come on. Preach, minister, preach.
I hate the world that has destroyed the glory of God. I hate the institutions of the world that have so twisted human minds that they are no longer human but beasts in human form. I'm justified.
Go ahead.
James said, if you love the world, you have enmity with God. Oh, man. So I ain't ashamed to hate.
No, no, no.
The people hated Jesus, but the scriptures say they hated him without a cause. That should mean that there is a cause to hate somebody. And you hate evil. Won't you hate what was done to you? And unless those who did it repent, are you justified in hating them? And if you ain't got courage enough to hate intelligently, God does, because he promises and threatens to remove the wicked from the face of the earth. Why? Because he loves them? Hell no. God hates them. And let me go a step further. God hates the condition that you are in.
That's right, that's right.
And if you don't make a change to make yourself worthy of God's love, his hatred will be kindled against you. And his destruction will follow.
Yes, that's right. Teach.
Now, you're a full-blown hater of yourself and worshiper of white people. But this book says, keep your duty to your Lord, not the one who nurtured you in madness, but the one who's going to nurture you into himself, who created you from a single being. Who is that single being?
Good question.
Well, come on, Bible scholars, Quranic scholars.
Come on.
Who is the single being that we all were created from? Who is our progenitor? See, it's God. God created us from a single being. God is one. We came from him. But in truth, theologically, you would say that the progenitor of all human beings is a man called Adam.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Teach.
And all human beings are called the children of Adam.
Yes, sir.
Who was Adam? Adam is the original man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The whole basis of every molecular structure, which is called matter. You boil it down to the atom.
Listen. Teach it.
A-D-A-M and A-T-O-M is the same.
Same.
Everything is broken down to atoms. Let's go and break it down now. Hang with me about 15 more minutes. Buckle on your seatbelts now, brothers. But we're about to take off. Who is Adam? I'll start from the Bible, then the Quran, then world history.
Come on, teacher.
The Bible says Adam is the first man created by God or made by God. And he made him from the dust of the earth.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Go ahead. Yeah.
He made him, according to the Bible, in his own image and likeness. Whoa.
Teach.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me every one of these men and women on the earth are made in the image and likeness of God?
Teach, minister.
Well, wait a minute, Farrahakan. The Bible said, man. What you throwing women in there for? You better read it a little more careful.
Teach.
In the first chapter of Genesis, the 26th verse, it said, and God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. Whoa. In the 5th chapter of Genesis, it said, male and female created he them and called their name Adam. So both men and women are made in the image and the likeness of God. Now, let's go back to the Genesis, first chapter. When God made the man, he said, and let us give them power. That's the first thing that God imparted to man after he made him in his likeness. He gave him power. Why do you refer to yourself as powerless? If you're a creature of God, you got power. And what's happening is the way you think your power is so confused and misused. You're like a short in a wire. You get a burst of light, but it ain't hooked right, so it can't do its job.
Yes, sir.
The power is there, but there's a short in the wire.
Yes, sir.